The briefing lasts 4 minutes. The job takes 1 night. The part nobody tells Cade is that only 5 people are supposed to walk out. He's the lowest-ranked operative in the Iron Vault Guild. That's not an insult, it's a job description. The guild runs black market dungeon extractions, sealed pre-system chambers buried under the city's rift zones, untouched for centuries, full of artifacts the Hunter Board has officially classified as non-existent. Cade's role is the entry unit. He cracks the outer seal. He neutralizes the interior wards. He opens the door. Then the senior crew goes in, pulls the loot, and Cade stands by the threshold holding the exit key until everyone is through. It's the kind of job that requires exactly one person to be expendable. Cade has held that position for 3 years. Guild Master Cale Roth calls it the most critical function in any extraction. He says it with a straight face every time. Cade has noticed that the entry unit's name never appears on the payout ledger. Tonight's target is a Class 0 vault in the Verk subrift, 40 meters beneath the financial district. The briefing calls it a storage chamber, pre-system noble archive, nothing classified, routine pull. 5 operatives plus Cade. Entry at midnight. Extraction window, 90 minutes. Cale himself is on comms from the surface. Myra, Cade's former partner from his early guild days, now second in command, hands him the entry schematic without making eye contact. "Ward configuration's clean," she says. "You'll be in and out in under 20. Cade takes the schematic. He doesn't ask why she won't look at him. The rift access is a maintenance shaft behind a decommissioned water treatment plant. Cade cracks the shaft door in 11 seconds. The outer ward, a 6-ring monoseal bolted into the stone, takes him 4 minutes, 3 seconds. Personal best. The crew files past him without a word. He follows them to the vault door. The vault itself is wrong. Not the size he expected small. The wrongness is in the material. Every pre-system storage chamber Cade has cracked is lined with standard resonance stone, dull gray, slightly warm, faintly humming. This vault's interior walls are black. Not painted, the stone itself has been transmuted, layered with a sealing compound Cade has never seen in any extraction file. The resonance hum is gone. The air inside is cold and absolutely still. He stands in the threshold and watches the crew work. Ven pulls artifact crates from the left alcove. Saul and Derek strip a row of sealed containers along the back wall. Petra catalogs. Every one of them is wearing contact point gloves, standard for artifact handling. Every object passes through their hands. It takes 63 minutes. Cade holds the threshold the entire time. He counts the crates as they go out. 17. On the 18th pass, Saul bumps his shoulder going through the door, hard enough to stumble him. Cade catches the doorframe to keep his balance, and when he straightens up, the door is already swinging shut. He gets his hand against it before the first lock engages. The second lock fires anyway, then the third, the fourth, then a fifth lock he has never seen on any vault schematic he's ever studied. The door is sealed from the outside. Cade's voice is level. He keys his comm. "Static. Myra. Static." He stands in the silence for a long moment. Then he checks the air reading on his wrist panel. Pre-system vaults are airtight by design. The panel gives him 72 hours. Cade sits down on the vault floor, puts his back against the sealed door, and looks at the room. It is not empty. In the center of the vault, on a stone pedestal the crew walked past 3 times without touching, sits a book. Not an artifact container, an actual book. Leather cover, no title, no seal. The crew missed it entirely because it doesn't read as a mana object. The pedestal doesn't either. To every scanner on their belts it would have registered as inert stone. Cade walks over and picks it up. System alert, foreign class detected. Scanning, phantom ledger forbidden, record sealed, 800 years. Status active. Initiating chain red protocol. The sensation hits him like cold water, not painful, just sudden and total. He feels the class seat itself behind his sternum, and then the chain begins. The Phantom Ledger works on contact history. Every object in this vault was touched tonight by 5 pairs of hands. The ledger reads the contact chain embedded in each object and extracts the full combat profile. Every skill, every stat, every class ability, every trained reflex of every person in the chain. It begins with Ven. Phantom Ledger Contact Chain. Object Group 1 Alcove Crates. Extracting. Ven Hark Iron Vault Rank 4. Skills acquired, 12 stats absorbed, full profile class, Shadow Step Extractor. Then Saul, then Derek, then Petra. Phantom Ledger Contact Chain. Object Group 4 Sealed Containers. Extracting. Saul Merk Iron Vault Rank 2. Skills acquired, 19 stats absorbed, full profile class, Null Ward Breaker. Extracting. Derek Voss Iron Vault Rank 3. Skills acquired, 14 stats absorbed, full profile class, Combat Extractor. Extracting. Petra Null Iron Vault Rank 3. Skills acquired, 11 stats absorbed, full profile class, Resonance Analyst. Cade is breathing carefully. The ledger isn't finished. Phantom Ledger Contact Chain. Object Group 17 Exit Schematic Handled, Pre-Raid Briefing. Extracting. Myra Shen Iron Vault Rank 1 Deputy. Skills acquired, 31 stats absorbed, full profile class, Veil Breaker / Tactical Dominance. 31 skills. Myra has been with the guild for 11 years. He absorbs every one of them in the time it takes to exhale. Phantom Ledger Contact Chain. Object Group 17 Exit Schematic Handled, Commission Approval. Extracting. Aldrich Voss Black Market Commissioner External Rank, SSS Unlisted. Skills acquired, 44 stats absorbed, full profile class, Vault Sovereign. Cade goes still. The chairman, Aldrich Voss, the man who commissions the guild's extractions, who has never once set foot in the field, apparently signed the exit schematic personally before it was printed. His contact point is a 3-second signature on a single sheet of paper. It is enough. 44 skills. SSS-rank. Commissioner of the Hunter Board's largest classified black market network. Cade has all of it. He sits with the ledger in his lap and the sealed door at his back and does the math. He has 71 hours and 43 minutes of air left. He spends every one of them learning exactly what he is carrying. He doesn't sleep. The exit comes from the inside, because every vault the Iron Vault Guild has ever cracked has a secondary release, a safety failsafe buried in the ward architecture for use in exactly this scenario, a sealed operative with no comm. Cade designed 3 of those failsafes himself. He looks for this one on hour 68 and finds it in 14 minutes, a resonance pressure point behind the left wall panel, readable only by someone carrying a Null Ward Breaker class. He has Saul's class. He presses the point. The 5th lock releases first, then the 4 standard locks in sequence. The door opens. He walks out of the subrift at 11:47 p.m. on the 3rd night, 71 hours and 47 minutes after they sealed him in. His tactical vest has dried sweat on it. His expression is the same as when he went in. He doesn't go to the guild hall. He doesn't call anyone. He goes to the Hunter Board's auxiliary registration office, the one open at midnight for active field submissions, and files a class registration with the Phantom Ledger attached as primary documentation. The duty clerk stares at the system readout for a long time. Then she calls her supervisor. The supervisor calls the board's senior analyst. The analyst looks at the registered skill count and asks Cade quietly how he would like to proceed. "I want to file an extraction disclosure," Cade says. "Everything the Iron Vault Guild has pulled from classified sites in the last 6 years. I have the chain records. The ledger logged every object they ever touched." The analyst reaches for a different form. What follows is not a fight, it is a sequence. The board's investigative unit pulls Iron Vault's operational records that same night, cross-referenced against Cade's ledger data, every extraction, every artifact, every client name buried in Chairman Aldrich's commission approvals. By dawn, 4 senior board analysts are working the file. By the following afternoon, the case has a tribunal date. But first, the crew. Ven is picked up at a cafe in the lower district. He sees Cade across the table in the board interrogation room and understands immediately. He doesn't speak until his lawyer arrives. By then, his shadow step extractor profile is already flagged in the board system under Cade's registration number, which means his class credentials cannot be independently verified, filed, or transferred without Cade's authentication. Ven's guild license is suspended pending the tribunal. Saul tries to run. He gets 2 blocks before a null ward breaker reflex Cade borrowed from his own profile stops him, not with force, with a ward collapse that drops the alley exit shutter before Saul reaches it. Saul looks at the shutter, looks at Cade behind him and sits down on the pavement. "How?" he says. Cade doesn't explain. He hands Saul the board's appearance notice and walks away. Dirk and Petra cooperate immediately. Their testimony is added to the case file within 48 hours. Myra is last. She is sitting in the guild hall's operations room when Cade walks in, not because she didn't know he was coming, but because she chose to wait. She looks at him across the operations table, and for a moment neither of them says anything. "I didn't know it was a Class 0 site," she says. "I thought it was a standard pull." Cade looks at her. He has 31 of her skills sitting behind his sternum. He knows exactly how good she is. He also knows the exit schematic she handed him at the briefing was printed on Commissioner Aldrich's paper, with Aldrich's sign-off in the contact chain, which means she routed the job through the chairman's office personally. She knew the vault was flagged. He sets a board summons on the table between them. "Tribunal is in 3 days," he says. She doesn't pick it up. She doesn't argue. She just looks at it and something in her face closes like a door. "Cale is going to say you're fabricating the class," she says finally. "The ledger's already registered," Cade says. "He can say whatever he wants." He leaves without another word. The tribunal is held in the Hunter Board's main chamber, live-streamed on the city's official Rift Registry feed. 1,200 registered hunters watch from the gallery. Cale Roth arrives flanked by 2 legal representatives and a private authenticator hired to dispute the Phantom Ledger's registration. The authenticator reviews the board's file for 90 minutes, then submits a single-line opinion. Registration valid, chain-read protocol consistent with 8 historical pre-system records, no grounds for dispute. Cale fires him on the spot. It doesn't change anything. The tribunal board runs through the extraction disclosure first, 6 years of classified pulls, 41 sites, Commissioner Aldrich's commission records laid out item by item. Aldrich invokes non-disclosure privilege. The board's senior analyst explains that it does not extend to criminal extraction cases. His legal team requests a recess. The board denies it. By midpoint, Aldrich is escorted out in custody, SSS-rank credentials flagged pending investigation. Then it's Cale's turn. Cale Roth is not a stupid man. He has spent 20 years building the Iron Vault Guild from 3 operatives into the city's most efficient black market extraction outfit. He is very good at reading rooms. He looks at the tribunal panel, at the disclosure file, at the 1,200 people watching from the gallery, and at Cade, sitting at the disclosure table, perfectly still, tactically unbothered. "I ordered the vault sealed," Cale says, addressing the panel directly. "I believe the operative inside was deceased. I made an error in field assessment." The board's lead investigator sets a document on the panel table. The vault's 5th lock mechanism was externally engaged from a surface comm unit registered to your device at 1:14 a.m., she says. The entry schematic lists the operative's active status at 09 a.m. Can you explain the 5-minute window? Kale can't. The panel gives him 3 minutes to confer with his legal team. At the end of 3 minutes, his lead attorney stands and submits a guilty plea to the charge of willful abandonment of a field operative, the minimum available charge, the one with the most favorable sentencing range. The board accepts it. The gallery is silent. Then the lead investigator addresses the remaining charge: conspiracy to conceal a Class 0 vault site from Hunter Board classification. For this one, Kale's team has no plea. The evidence in the disclosure file is complete, sourced, and corroborated by 4 crew testimonies and a chain-read log that cannot be altered. Kale Roth stands up from the defendant's table. He doesn't do it slowly, doesn't dramatize it. He stands, faces the panel, and faces Cade across the chamber, and the thing that has always been the source of his authority, the certainty that he is the one who controls the room, is simply gone. He puts both hands on the table, and he kneels. Not because the panel orders it, because there is nothing else left to do. In the gallery, Myra watches from the second row. She doesn't speak. She doesn't look away. Cade doesn't look at her. The tribunal closes with the full disclosure filed into the board's public record. The Iron Vault Guild's operating license is suspended pending the criminal referral. Ven, Saul, Derek, and Petra receive reduced charges in exchange for testimony. Kale's sentencing is deferred to a later date. Commissioner Aldrich's case is referred to the city's criminal division. Cade walks out of the chamber at 4:21 p.m. into pale afternoon light. He has 120 registered skills, 1 forbidden class, and no guild affiliation. The duty analyst from the registration office catches up with him on the steps. She has a form. Independent registration, she says, slightly breathless. You qualify for a solo license with your current ledger count and the commissioner's absorbed profile. You'd register at SSS equivalent, no ceiling detected. She holds the form out. The board would like to offer you operational status, direct commission access, no guild required. Cade looks at the form. He thinks about 3 years of holding a threshold. He thinks about a sealed door, a dark vault, a book on a pedestal, and 71 hours of learning exactly who he was carrying. He takes the form. He signs it. Then he walks down the steps in the pale afternoon light, alone, with everything they tried to bury with him, and not one of them left to take it back.